Welcome to this episode of Management Mantras from Successful Entrepreneurs. And we have with us today Dr. Arjun Singh Mehta, who is a multifaceted person. He is a biotechnologist by profession and education and an avid sports person and a filmmaker by choice. After he completed his studies, he returned to India and he founded Gujarat Life Sciences Private Limited, which is a leading biotechnology-based company and one of the first of its kind in India. GLS is formed as a unique three-way between government, university, and industry, and specializes in applied research to develop cost-effective, effective, and eco-friendly products and processes. They are pioneers in several products in this field and work on providing alternatives to several chemical-based products which are deterrent to environment and human health. He actively participates and has held leadership positions in important forums such as CII, FGI, FICCI, and many more. He's also the founder of a film production and theatre firm by the name of Thought So, which supports local talent. He works closely with children, farmers, and people in the fields of creative arts and life sciences. He's married to Shubhra Singh Mehta, and they have a lovely daughter, Arya. Welcome, Arjun, and we are really glad to have you with us here today.
Thank you. Very glad to be here.
Yeah, and it would be a pleasure to know how you manage a company. But before that, I'm a little curious to know one thing because I understand GLS was started in 2001, and before that it was an NGO called Science Ashram. And that was a time when biotechnology was just a concept word. So how did you get into this field at that point of time?
So if you ask me, biotechnology and organic practices were always there. It was in the 1960s that very strong chemistry came into being, that industries went in for chemistry, and then we had the advent of the chemical fertilizers and chemical pesticides, and most of the processes that were more or less a setback to the environment. If we had understood the importance of organic practices or eco-friendly practices back then, today we would not be facing environmental and health impacts that we see today. My childhood was very interesting. My father being a scientist himself, we were always surrounded by words like sustainability and environment and ecology long before they became current fads. So talking about futuristic technologies, talking about something which would be sustainable, safer, economical, in a broad sense, useful for everybody, and not just talking about products that made profit or money. I think this was how the whole childhood went about, and I think that is where this whole idea of doing something that would be innovative, futuristic, and at the same time directly useful to people, I think germinated. Two things when I set up the company were very clear. One, of course, as I said, to make products and processes that would be directly applicable. Because in the field of biotechnology or microbiology, a lot of research has been done and it is still going on, but very little gets translated in application. So there was a concern that there is a big gap between what we call the lab to field. And that was mainly because there was lack of industry participation. There was a lot of pharmaceutical industry and other bioprocesses which have been accepted in terms of medical applications, but not much in the area of agriculture and environment. So this was the first point why we thought that we should have a company so that we are not dependent on university-like structures where even research needs to go through hierarchical systems, but we can pick up research directly and then translate it into applied research through products and processes. And second was, as you said, biotechnology was a very new concept when we started this. But the universities were already churning out a lot of talent. Number of students were coming out, and then they were clueless as to what to do after microbiology or biotechnology or life sciences. So we also were very clear that we want to give a platform to these new talents where they could work in an industry like opening and actually put their knowledge into application. So I think largely these two reasons of doing something directly for people, especially the farmers, and second, to provide opportunity to new talents.
Great. So I can understand at that point of time, you would have had a lot of talent available, but they may not have had options. And today, perhaps the scenario has changed. I think so the talent that is coming out, they also have more options. So first of all, I want to know what's your team size now?
We are 50 plus, and then we have some more people in the field who we call the field executives.
So do you face talent challenges now, people challenges wherein it could be retention or other challenges, and how do you tackle them?
We were very aware when we came up with this idea that we will offer opportunities to freshers and new graduates to immediately join our industry, and we would do thorough training with them, right from basic laboratory practices to handling manufacturing, fermentation systems, and so on. And this was with the awareness that once they get trained here, they might venture out to larger places like Bombay and Bangalore, where there are industries who are looking for people with skills. It did happen, but fortunately for us, and I'm very happy and also surprised that not many people have left GLS as an organization for another organization. People would have moved out of, their maybe the family is moving, or they are shifting a city, or people are getting married, and so on. But we have really not seen too many people moving to another organization just for the lack of opportunity here. I think the main reason for that is we did not do anything which was conventional. So there was always a sense of excitement for people. Every day they would come, there would be something new that is being discussed. Even the marketing and sales people, even if they are frustrated in talking about new products to the farmers who would, hardly listen to them, they still found it very exciting to talk about something new, because they knew that this is something which is good for the environment, which is eventually going to be what the world will accept, and today we see the result. Of course, we are also good paymasters in this business, because agri-biotechnology, you don't really see great salaries coming out to people, especially freshers or just postgrads. So, as I said, fortunately, we haven't seen much of a problem with the retention. But yes, what we see is that we would like to really expand to give opportunities for more people to come in, and also to afford better talent in terms of PhDs or greater experts in this area. So we are working on that as of now.
So as I can understand, first, as you talked about, the work is exciting. That keeps them over here, and of course, money matters. So you feel that the pay structures are also in line with perhaps what bigger organizations also may be offering. Anything else in the work culture which you feel makes them stick to the organization?
Since our roots are in the NGO, the philosophy has always been more about application, applied research, or doing something for others. Money has, or just profit making has not been the only exciting thing for us. In fact, that really comes very down in the priority. What this made us as the promoters of the company do is give a lot of freedom to the employees. We are a very, very transparent organization, so much so that almost everybody knows about what is happening in each other's departments. Even the accounts are open. So this is something that we, and I particularly wanted to make sure that I do not want too much of hierarchy or differentiation in terms of departments. The result is that there is a strong sense of belongingness. People are, they feel that they own the organization, and this automatically brings about honesty, integrity, and responsibility amongst all the GLS team members. So I think this has really been the crux of how the culture has developed.
So when you say freedom, I believe they are a part of the decision-making process also. Are they involved in decision-making, which makes them feel a sense of ownership?
Absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
In fact, we hardly have any regimental system. Yes, there is ISO and everything in place, but approach to a task or a job is totally left to the individual, be it production or be it marketing and sales. Our product line is like that you need to be constantly innovating, constantly improving upon it. So we may have a product that we started in 98, 99, got commercialized in 2001, 2002. But every year there is a new thing that is added to the product, it's enriched or it is improved in the formulation. And this is mainly because there is a freedom for all the marketing and sales people to get inputs from the farmers. What do they want and what change you should make? And we are totally open to that. We are not stuck to just one kind of formulation, setting targets and selling the products. Similarly, the production people or the research people are constantly open to the ideas coming in. So if there is a process change, if there is a new equipment that we want to get in or a new formulation, everybody has their right. They can all go and experiment and then, practically just give us the results that this is working, this is not working. I think this whole freedom of, allowing them to think openly or think freely, I think this has really worked for us. And out of the box thinking, all those sort of things are the words, but for us, it is more or less the way of life. The biggest asset that we have is from our marketing executives. One would require market research and customer feedbacks and all of those things. You need to employ agencies who would do that for you. But for us, it is almost an automatic process. Almost on every day, there is an interaction with the farmer and input comes, and that comes straight to us, and it translates into developing and improving the products constantly.
So do you have a standard system of transfer of these inputs? Like, is it like it comes off and on, or you have platforms or a regular system where they log in their inputs? How do you do that?
Yes, more or less, as I said, it's a constant process. So even a casual conversation would, between two marketing or sales executive and the sales manager here would bring about that point. There are regular afternoon meetings, for example, that we have where everybody gathers, all the departments gather, and they have an interaction of, is there an input and what different can we do? The dispatch person might have an idea on how the packaging should be, and there are lots and lots of factors involved with that. But we also have a plan in R&D where we have at any given time we are working on 2 to 3 new products. So every year when a new product is introduced, we are already working on 2 to 3 new products which would be introduced in subsequent years. So that way, yes, there is a plan in place, and the idea is to keep on adding new products to the line that we already have.
So what I can see is the core of your business is innovation, because that's what your product line is based on. At the same time, I feel that this same would be even transferring to the other departments who are not actually involved in this. So it could be accounts, it could be dispatch, who are not, their core function is not having innovation at its base. But do you feel that there are ways in which they also contribute to make their processes, their systems more effective? As you said that you have these afternoon meetings and they come together. So do you see that culture spreading across departments also?
Yeah, totally. So if I remember the days, earlier days, there would be just 2 or 3 of us who would be handling everything. And the selection or the appointment of people done in the earlier times was very organic. I would know somebody, somebody who was doing the job for designing and printing for us, and that person would be excited to know what we are doing more and would join the organization. We have a classic example of somebody who used to come to us to collect invoices for a certain telecom system that we are hiring, and that person said, I really like the way you operate over here. Can I join the organization? So when they come in, they are given a job, but there are no regimental processes put in place. We ask the person to feel free and achieve the task in the way they like. What this does is that the person, they themselves feel responsible, and there is a clear accountability which comes. And as management, what we need to do is then only a little fine-tune. So it becomes very easy. And since everybody has a say in other departments also, it is like an automatic supervision or vigilance. In ISO, we have these monthly audits that we do, or 3 monthly audits and so on. But this is almost on a daily basis. They would talk about something that said, I told you to do something yesterday. What has happened to that? Have you worked on that process? Have you worked on the system? Can we expedite our packaging? Can we expedite our dispatches? All of that. So a marketing person obviously would be concerned, but the account person sitting there would also give his input. He would say that, okay, let me make you the invoices much faster than what I'm doing already. It will help you in your dispatch and so on. So, involvement basically, and the sense of belongingness. I think if these two things are achieved, I feel more or less, all the systems fall in place. You don't really need to have a certain guideline for people to follow.
So a lot of times I've seen that when we have these interdepartmental meetings, so a lot of departments do work in silos. And as what you said right now, that let's say an accounts department person proactively saying that, okay, I would like to help out. So to make this happen, as you said, yes, the person needs to feel a sense of ownership, and recognition, appreciation are also certain things which make the person feel like doing that. So do you have any ways in which you recognize people for being proactive or contributing?
Yeah, well, like many organizations, we have these annual programs where talent and contribution is appreciated. It is incentivized also. But one thing we had made very clear, that this will be one organization which is going to be a sharing organization. So, purely in terms of profitability, if I say, we as promoters have hardly taken any profit in all these years. Most of the profit goes back into research or in terms of any investments that are to be made. But largely, we take care that each and everybody is incentivized. There has not been a single year that we have not given increments. Of course, the company has also constantly grown thanks to the contribution of everyone, and that is paid back. So increments are always in place. Even in COVID year, there was increment which was given. So that way, yes, we have taken care of that part. But more than that, I think the work culture and the transparency is something that really attracts people to continue in doing the work.
So coming to the next question, which because I've known you for some time and I would like to know about that. What do you do to manage your business without close involvement? I've seen you managing it really well from a distance. So what is your success recipe for that?
So yeah, maybe the fact that I'm not managing it is doing good for my business. When I started the business, it was very clear that I would continue to do all the other things that I do. GLS is a biotechnology-based company which focuses on the manufacture of agriculture and environmental biotechnological inputs, organic fertilizers, biopesticides, and so on. But biotechnology application is very vast. I'm involved in soil ecology or river ecology. One of the projects that we are now doing is finding alternative to the crop residue burning in North India. which has become a national and international problem. So it was very clear that I am not going to get involved in the day-to-day things. That was from day one. And this is, I think, largely attributed to the upbringing and the family culture that we have, where personal requirements are quite frugal. So only money has never excited me too much. And that has kept me at ease, not looking at day-to-day accounts and not getting worried too much about the sales and so on. Having said that, it is important to have a growing and profit-making organizations, and to ensure that without getting involved too much, I think three things have worked for me. One is the choice of the business itself. Second is the work ethics and the culture that has been developed. And third is the vision.
So coming to the last question, Arjun, all entrepreneurs make mistakes. They learn from the mistakes and they grow. So any mistakes which you feel that entrepreneurs should avoid?
Okay, for that, I would slightly elaborate on the 3 points that I just made about how I am feeling comfortable with my business. One, as I said, the choice of business. The business of sustainability is what I would like to call us being in. Agriculture is one area where the change is very slow. You see the fertilizer companies which have been making the same product for decades together, the ureas and the DAPs, and the farmers are not changing it. So when we ventured into this, yes, we were making concept products, and it was very, very hard work to get the farmer to accept the products. But once they do, then there is a very long shelf life of the products. So that has enabled us to breathe easy, because we know that there is a range of products which is going to sell even without us doing too much extra. Secondly, the work ethics, which I already spoke about, a lot of transparency, a lot of freedom given to the people. But there is a sense of contribution that everybody has here. When we make a biofertilizer for a very, very small cost, we know that some small marginal farmer in Rajasthan or in Chhattisgarh somewhere is going to get benefited out of this, and it is going to, get him a little bit of prosperity. Now, this is very, very important for us. Besides just running a business or making money, I think this holds a very large place in everyone's heart. Thirdly, as I said, the main and most important part is the vision. And this vision, again, coincides with the ethics, where we are looking at more futuristic things, something which will have, the consequences or the significance of what we do today have to last several years. So the example that I gave you about the crop residue burning is something, if we are about to bring that solution, then it is going to be a major, major contribution to all the air pollutions and the fogs and the smogs that you see in Delhi and North India. I think that will be immensely satisfying for all of us over here. Based on this, I think there are 3 common mistakes that most new generation entrepreneurs make, or even large established companies. And I would start with the lack of vision. So I would say if your ambition is to only make money, then that success is going to be very temporary and very short-lived. It's not going to be satisfactory at all, because there is always going to be a comparison. The yardstick will only become turnover and profit, or what car you bought, or where you have made an investment, and what kind of attire you have, and all those things. So if for any business, and we are not talking about just 5-year, 10-year plan, we are actually talking about what is your business doing to contribute for the betterment of the world. As cliched as it may sound, I think it is something that gives a lot of throttle to the ambition of creating a business that would reach out to the world. Global participation, all of that. Money is probably going to follow all of that. But if there is a social aspect to it, if there is a humanitarian aspect to it, then I think that organization will have a very, very strong foundation. I very strongly believe that businesses are the biggest social service organizations. You're already employing so many people, you are supporting so many families. If your product line or if your business has that, the EQ or the compassionate or the humanitarian part to it, I think that is what your vision should largely be, the benefit of all. The second mistake I would say is not sharing, trying to do everything yourself and trying to do everything for yourself. I think these are the two biggest mistakes that entrepreneurs or the companies normally make. I think sharing is caring. Sharing of your profit, sharing of your responsibilities. It automatically translates in how your products reach out to people and how there is a sense of inclusion amongst customers also. And you are not just saying that I have only a money dealing relationship with this particular customer or person. So longevity of your customers means longevity of your business. And the third and the most important thing, I think, is mediocrity. Most people, when they initiate the business, and we included, for the lack of resources and fund, would invest in something mediocre, be it equipment or be it a place, but most importantly, people. I think your assets are your team, your people, and if you invest in somebody who is mediocre in either their talent, skill, or attitude, they are going to bring down everybody to that level. The opposite of that is, if there is one person who is full of enthusiasm and really proactive in the approach, they are going to pull up a lot of people, even if they are old timers, to a level where there is going to be rejuvenated enthusiasm in doing something new. So I think what the proverbial "Mehanga rohe ek baar, sasta rohe baar baar." I think new generation entrepreneurs definitely need to know this, that your team is only as fast as the slowest person. So investment in good people with good attitude, very positive outlook is most important, along with good equipment, good setup. So I think that has to be, this should be, according to me, the three main features that new generation entrepreneurs especially should look into.
So I think so what you have said right now sums it up all, because what you started off with, your organization is into the business which does have a societal impact. But the way you termed it as every business is a social service organization, because you're employing so many people, you are giving them a livelihood. And that is, I think, so very pivotal to having people with a sense of ownership in the organization, how you treat them, being open to sharing, whether responsibilities or profits. I think so that is something which, again, the earlier questions which we discussed, that why do we have the sense of ownership or how do they contribute to ideas? I think so these are certain things which add up to that.
Right.
And yes, being conscious about where you are investing in what and who you are investing. I think so these are very crucial inputs from you, which I'm sure a lot of new entrepreneurs, nowadays startup is the new buzzword, but new entrepreneurs would gain from. And these are the strong pillars or the foundation of a business which can help the business to grow and sustain. So I'm sure there is a lot of food for thought for many from the insights that we have got from you today. Thanks a lot, Arjun, for your time. And yes, we'll surely meet up and discuss in further detail sometime. So thank you very much for being with us today. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely a pleasure, and all the best. We are looking forward to how you are developing this, and especially the book when it comes out. We look forward to that.
Thank you. Thank you, Arjun.
Thanks, man. Thank you.